Good morning. This is Mission Control Houston. Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's edition of ISS Update this Thursday, May 17. We're coming to you live inside the International Space Station Flight Control Room, where the team has been monitoring the systems aboard the station and supporting the day's activities of the Expedition 31 crew members. Leading the Orbit 2 team here in the Station Flight Control Room today is Flight Director Jed Freeling, and next to him is Anna Fisher, who is serving as Capcom. She's been relaying all ground messages up to the crew. Aboard the orbiting complex, Station Commander Oleg Kononenko and flight engineers Andrei Kuipers and Don Pettit, who are in their 21st week in space, welcomed 3 new crew members aboard the orbital home last night. Russian cosmonauts Gennady Padalka, Sergei Revin, and NASA astronaut Joe Acaba aboard the Soyuz O-4M spacecraft docked to the space station after their successful launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan late Monday night. After a 2-day chase on orbit, the Soyuz spacecraft docked to the Poisk module of the space station last night at 11:36 p.m. Central Time. As the 2 vehicles were flying over the Mongolian border with Kazakhstan. While anticipating their 3 new crew members, Kononenko, Kuipers, and Pettit began their day with a wake-up at 8:30 Central Time last night to support the arrival of their new crew members who joined them aboard the International Space Station after a series of leak and pressure checks, and the hatches between both vehicles were opened early this morning at 3:10 Central Time. The new trio joined the crew for a greeting ceremony and conference with family and mission officials, then conducted a safety briefing afterward. It is now back to business for the current station residents, while their newly arrived crewmates begin several days of familiarization tasks as they adjust to life aboard the orbital laboratory. The docking occurred on Acaba's 45th birthday. In his first daily planning conference aboard the space station, Acaba told ground controllers around the world, "I couldn't have wished for a better birthday present." Acaba had previously visited the station in March 2009 aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery as an STS-119 mission specialist. This is Padalka's 4th long-duration spaceflight and his 3rd aboard the station. His first mission was aboard the Russian space station Mir, while Revin is making his first trip into space. Awaiting for their new crewmates to join them aboard the International Space Station, Commander Kononenko, Kuipers, and Pettit had launched to the orbiting complex aboard their Soyuz spacecraft as the Expedition 30 crew in December of last year. Their vehicle docked to the Rosviet module of the space station 2 days after their launch on December 23rd. Today, the trio will complete their 149th consecutive day, nearly 5 months in space. Kononenko, Kuipers, and Pettit had adjusted their sleep shift with an earlier wake-up at 8:30 p.m. last night to accommodate the successful docking at 11:36 p.m. The space station with its crew aboard and the Soyuz TMA O-4M now docked is now flying at an altitude of about 245 statute miles. The orbiting facility is on a night pass on a northeastern track, having made its way across the southern Australia about 15 minutes ago, is now across the North Pacific Ocean, heading toward an orbital sunrise and eventually a pass across Canada. Kononenko, Kuipers, and Pettit had adjusted their sleep shift with that earlier wake-up at 8:30 p.m. last night. They began their active long day with the first of 2 daily planning conferences a couple of hours after their wake-up. These planning conferences are held with ground controllers at mission control centers around the world to review the day's activities and also plan for the next set of tasks. The task at the top of the list being the arrival of their new crew members. Along with the arrival of the Soyuz today, Pettit worked with the Spheres experiment, troubleshooting the reference clock. He also replaced a manifold bottle in the combustion integrated rack experiment and observed microbial samples for the environmental health system microbial capture device. Kuipers worked on the water recovery system to prepare for water transfers, and he performed flow measurements on the temperature and humidity control, the intermodule ventilation system. And new to the station, NASA astronaut Joe Acaba spent some time setting up his crew quarters area. The six-member expedition crew is now settling down in their pre-sleep period aboard the space station as they prepare for 14 hours of rest that will adjust their sleep back to the normal station operations clock for their first full day of work together as a full crew aboard the orbiting complex tomorrow. The crew is scheduled to go to bed just at the end of today's update hour at 11 a.m. Central Time. This is Mission Control Houston.